Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
Off we go here on a Thursday. Welcome to a Thursday edition as we are getting through the month of August, and that means football, and more football. Hi, everybody. Terry Norvelle, of course, set up on the patio here at Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach. The best seafood, the freshest seafood, can, of course, be found here at Sliders. They feature Safe Harbor Seafood. The dock for Safe Harbor and the processing location is right there. I mean, you get it out of the ocean to your plate. Can't get much fresher than that. They prepare it to your liking. Then they've been doing it a long time here. Safe Harbor Seafood provides the great seafood on the menu at Sliders Oyster Bar. Full service oyster bar open right now. Liquor bar, and of course the patio where I'm set up here until 6 o'clock. Our Thursday home, Sliders Oyster Bar. A lot to get to today on the program. A little bit of Jaguar roster moves and news. Nothing significant. And I guess that's taking away a little bit from the guys that got signed to the practice squad today. But let me back this up and see if I can find a couple guys were added to the Jaguars practice squad. Defensive end Matt Dickerson and wide receiver Eric Ezukaman. A couple of people added to, or players added to the Jaguar roster. Not a whole lot. There won't be a whole lot of player movement now until we start playing football games. Really, the biggest thing with regard to a player and a franchise left in the NFL is the Micah Parsons saga. Where will this thing go? There's even talk now popping around some of these national sites that the Cowboys may have said, hey, it may be open bidding. I don't think they mean that. If they're trying to twist an arm, if they're trying to get a ink pen in a hand and signature. But, yeah, really the biggest personnel situation left in the NFL as we go to the start of the season next week is the Cowboys and the Micah Parsons situation. So not a whole lot to discuss with regard to personnel for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do hope to get into a discussion at some point today. And I've danced around it, and I'm one of the only guys that does dance around it. And I don't want to be, the sky is falling down guy. But, man, when you look at now the Jaguars' 53-man roster, that's their team. What they have, what they may not have, every team doesn't have everything they need. Everybody always has holes and areas of concern. But, man, you look around right now at the Jaguars and Travis Hunter, and man, oh, man. They have a lot riding on Travis Hunter being a high-level dual position player. They have put a lot into this guy, and if you step back off the ledge a little bit and look at what the Jaguars, what the philosophy is and has been with Travis Hunter, what they did to get Travis Hunter, and if you start projecting, it can go really good or really bad, I think. And I don't think right now we're so – and the really bad part would really, I think, rear its head next, 8-9 months from now, next offseason, next free agent season, next draft season. The way I look at it, and I may be crazy. I may just be crazy here. The Jaguars – Travis Hunter really needs to be a really good multi-position player. That's the whole concept. That's why they made the move, that they think he is going to be not just a guy at wide receiver, not just a guy at defensive back. He's got to be, for this thing to work, to really work, and I'm gonna extrapolate it out through next year's draft. For this thing to work, I don't think it works if Travis Hunter is a really good one-dimensional player. If Travis Hunter turns in a really good wide receiver season and cornerback season, I don't think this whole thing works. If the opposite happens, I don't think this whole thing works. Certainly, if he's just average / solid at both positions, this thing doesn't work. And let me tell you my theory on why. If the Jaguars only get one position that Travis Hunter is excelling in, and you'll take that, man. That is a great deal. But where they're at and how they got Travis Hunter, let's say just for you-know-whats and giggles, that Travis Hunter has a year one with the Jaguars, and his season as a wide receiver, he's really good. He's really solid. He has a really, maybe not the best in the league, but he has a solid wide receiver season. What is that? I don't know, 70, 80 catches. Solid, good, solid. And he's just kind of a guy at cornerback. So he's good on one side. He's a single position player, high level, not a dual high level position player. Well, what's going to bite you maybe, I think, is, and nobody wants to look ahead because right now, the Jaguar organization, and I think a lot of the Jaguar fans, they're operating under the, well, we're living in the new house, and guess what? We didn't have to pay a mortgage for a year. That's awesome. Yeah. And they've pushed that mortgage payment out of their mind. They don't have to pay a mortgage payment for a year. It's out of their mind. But it's going to come due. And I'll back up again. If Travis Hunter only gives you a single position solid contribution, you take that. Of course you take that, but not with what you gave up, because if you only get that one position and that one solid contribution at one position, well, and I said in my example as a wide receiver, if that's all the case, then why didn't you just stay at 5? You could have gotten that at 5. Think about how the draft played out. The number one ranked and drafted wide receiver went 8, T. McMillan. And supposedly the Jaguars were looking hard at him. The number one defensive tackle went 5, where the Jaguars started. And the number one offensive tackle, another position of need, went, 6 or 7? So unless Travis Hunter really does a dual position, common sense says, well, why didn't you just, and here's the part that people are forgetting, and it's going to rear its head, I think, unfortunately, next April. The part people are forgetting is if Hunter doesn't give you a double contribution at a high level at 2 positions, would you have been better off just staying at 5 and getting high-level contribution from a DT, a wide receiver? And here's the issue. In that scenario, you have a 2026 first-round pick. Right now, you don't. Right now, you don't. The biggest concern with Travis Hunter is if he's pretty good on one of those positions, at one of those positions, even really good at one of those positions, but not both. And you think, well, wait a minute. We could have used that 5 pick and not given away the farm. Giving away your first-round pick is a big deal. Now, it's not a huge deal if you are current Buffalo and current Detroit and current Baltimore, and you think you're really close to making a great run. Okay, you just need a little supplement. Well, if this scenario plays out that I just laid out, the Jaguars will be a 6-win team, 7-win team. 6 and 7-win teams have holes. 6 and 7-win teams need help. If this scenario plays out, and I've said this before, it's a concern if you're looking long term. 6 and 7-win teams don't necessarily ever get better when they don't have a first-round draft pick. It's hard to get better if you're not great without a first-round draft pick. I don't know. I've beat the horse. We will see. It's going to be fun. It is going. Man, I'm the first guy in line wanting to see how this plays out. And yeah, I just don't see how. The other thing about load management, I hate to use this word, but this is new. What Travis Hunter is trying to do. I don't see how you can really say it worked if he plays 60 snaps a game, 40 wide receiver and, another 20 on defense. Man, you got to play a lot. They gave up a lot, man. And I know this is a discussion for another day, and quit raining on my parade. That season hasn't even started, Terry, but I want to be consistent and be on the record that, man, I've got concerns. Not so much Travis Hunter. I think he's going to be a good player. I don't necessarily think he's going to be a good two-way player. I'm not so sure it's that easy to do in the league. I think it would have been done. But, man, what you had to give up to get him on this particular team, man, I think we're all going to be sitting here. I think a lot of people are going to potentially be around this city and around this franchise going, oh, boy. So why did we give up all that? We gave up your first round pick in the first round is valuable, especially when you're trying to get to the upper or to the next level. Anyway, we can stay on this. We can get back on just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. Not a whole lot going on, like I said, in the NFL. It's really kind of laid back time. I would imagine, what do we got? Probably five-ish more times on the grass, as the Jaguars like to say, for the NFL franchises. Get on the grass, kind of walk through some stuff, do some skeleton stuff, do some on-air stuff. Not a whole lot going on. Everybody's roster is pretty much set. There'll be a little movement here and there. And I said Micah Parsons, who knows how that's going to play out. But, yeah, not a whole lot left. It is really fine-tuning. I would think a lot of classroom, a lot of make sure you know which team you're on, when you're on the field, things like that. And I know they're professionals, but, who's got what on punt coverage, who's got what on kick coverage, blah, 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 blah. I don't think there's a whole lot going on. Heal up any bumps and bruises. You want to be healthy as possible going in and get it on. A little over a week away for the NFL. Now, tonight, wow, college football, you could almost say, even though tonight's college football game schedule is not going to knock your socks off, but this feels more to me like opening day than even last Saturday, in my opinion. And I know last Saturday, I guess the top 25 matchup, Iowa State and Kansas State, that was bigger than any matchup today today anyway. But no, it feels like opening day today. I wish it was a bigger opening day, but let's get into the schedule. Some interesting storylines today and tonight. I'm not even sure a lot of people are aware. Michael Vick is getting back in the college game. Michael Vick will coach a game tonight on ESPNU against Towson. Michael Vick. He is the head football coach at Norfolk State. That game is on ESPNU. That will get a lot of publicity. This is a good situation, and you probably know our buddy on the show, Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. He played football at Towson, so we have a lot of fun and keep up with Towson a little bit. This is a good opportunity for Towson. They are at Norfolk State, ESPNU, and that game, because of the Michael Vick factor tonight, will get a lot of coverage. A lot of coverage, like him or dislike him. We know about the dog stuff years ago. But Michael Vick is the head football coach at Norfolk State, following in a pretty long line of ex-football players that are not too far removed from the NFL and their coaching at a pretty high level. Norfolk State's pretty high level. Deion Sanders got started with Jackson State. Eddie George, I think it was Tennessee Tech maybe he got started with. Eddie George, I think, is at Bowling Green now. Michael Vick in the league. So interesting game there. We're going to look at the entire schedule tonight from college football. We'll also get into the Major League Baseball schedule, results from last night. And we've got a couple games, 3 or 4 games that are taking place. Not a whole big schedule, not a big heavy schedule for Major League Baseball this afternoon. A light schedule going into, I guess it's a little bit of a travel day, and then going into your Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend. But of course, this time of year we have to get into Major League Baseball. Last night's results that mattered. Tonight, limited schedule, but 2 or 3 of those games. We've got 3 games tonight. Oh, no, 2 games tonight where heavy favorites and teams that are really positioning for the playoffs, they're playing bad teams. I like to point those out because those are games you can't, with 30 games left in the season, when you're one of these heavy favorite teams trying to close out a division or a wild card positioning, you can't afford to lose. We've got a couple of those tonight and this afternoon. We'll go over some of the games that matter and some of the we had 2 or 3 of those last night that bad teams beat good teams, and it hurts. It's almost like a double loss when you're one of these White Sox, Rockies, A's, when you start knocking off people with 30 games to go, and the people you're knocking off are contenders. Yeah, it's hard. It's tough. We've got some sports history we'll get to as well. So we got a lot of stuff to get to today on the program. Brent Beard, hopefully 5 o'clock. He was out yesterday. Brent had some personal stuff he was taking care of, and we hope to hear from Brent Beard as we go here on the program. I want to get to a story, and this is not earth-shattering. I think we all saw this coming, but there's an interesting story with some numbers from ESPN's website today. And, I always laugh and chuckle when I think about it wasn't that long ago that the NFL, man, let me tell you something. The absolute bane of the NFL's existence, man. I mean, what really, really shook up the NFL was betting, gambling. And, man, they built a wall to the NFL. No gambling, stick signs all over the locker room. Gambling literally is enemy number one, I think, for probably just about every sports league and certainly the NFL. They would rather you drive your car 120 miles an hour. Or they would rather domestic. They don't shutter, which is terrible, as bad as gambling or the perception of gambling. And the NFL always for decades, they had this NFL wall built. No gambling, gambling bad, worst thing that could topple us. Well, I think we all kind of knew, and we all do kind of know, if you follow the NFL, like a lot of entities that make a lot of money, like a lot of sports entities and leagues that make gobs of money, they tend to speak out of 2 sides of their mouth. The NFL, gambling, taboo, this, and no gambling, no. But I think we all knew that the NFL, that was lip service. And I think we also all knew that that's not going to be their stance forever. And lo and behold, what was it, about 5 years ago? Guess who the NFL started taking advertising dollars from? These mega gambling betting sites. And reading an article today on ESPN about the NFL and where gambling is at now in terms of just raw numbers. I think, and I'll scroll down and see, I'm pretty close, but right now, 37 of the 50 states in the United States have now passed the law where you can gamble. Let me see if I can find that actual number. But I think it was 37. I might have passed it here. Let me take a look. But yeah, it was a pretty big number now. So it is 3/4 of the way across the country. And I would imagine the other states are going to fall before too much longer. Let's see if I can find that actual number. I saw it with these with this article and these numbers. But yeah, 37 tells you that they're all going to fall soon. And the crux of this article is the NFL is estimating that gambling through these gambling sites, these quote-unquote legitimate gambling sites, in the upcoming 2025 season of NFL football will hit $30 billion. So you wonder, and if you were so naive and thinking, no, NFL, man, gambling is the ultimate taboo. They're never going to, no. Well, no, I could see it coming. I think a lot of people could see it coming. Hey, man, these numbers are just going to get so astronomical, and there's no entity in the world that has been invented, will be invented. No entity in the world loves money more than the NFL. And you knew the NFL was going to get a piece of that money. And all of a sudden, but think about what $30 billion is. They're estimating this year in the NFL 2025 season, $30 billion will be spent on quote unquote legal gambling. I think, and I'm just going to throw a round number to try and put that $30 billion. That is roughly, and I'm going to say this without deep diving into this, but there will be the equivalent of 15 NFL franchises bet. Think about it. These franchises now, all franchises are valued in the billions of dollars. So if you just say the average NFL franchise is valued at $2 billion, that means if they hit that $30 billion number, the equivalent of 15 franchises will be gambled on. Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can find some of these numbers, though. NFL bettors are expected to wager approximately $30 billion on the league this season with, and here we go. This says it better than I tried to, with legal sports books in the United States, according to an estimate released Thursday by the American Gaming Association. And get a load of this, the $30 billion figure is approximately 8.5% increase from a revised estimate of $27.5 billion last year, and it's based on the national growth wagering in 2025 and stats from states that reported football-specific betting data, according to that gaming association, which represents the gaming industry in the United States. The amount includes money bet on future wagers, such as odds to win the Super Bowl. So it catches everything. So it's catching a little bit of money before even the season. And also individual games from the preseason through Super Bowl, whatever LX is. I'm tired of this stuff. By the way, I'm tired of the cute Roman numerals. I'm tired of it. Maybe I'm the only one, but I'm tired of it. This article goes on to say, let's see if there's anything else. Oh, here it is. Currently in the United States, 38 states and the District of Columbia have legal betting markets with licensed sports books. So, yeah, they're following. Remember, wasn't it only just yesterday, it felt like, maybe a couple years ago, but it does not feel like it was that long ago. And let me back up here. 38 states, District of Columbia. It goes on to say, in 2024, more bets were placed and more money was wagered on the NFL than any other league at Sportsbook DraftKings. And that's understandable, despite there being – how about this, though? I think this is an easy statement. We would have all guessed this. Which sport in the United States has the most legal gambling placed on it? Football. But when you break it down, how about this statement? In 2024, more bets were placed and more money was wagered on the NFL than any other league at Sportsbook DraftKings. Now, it goes on to say, and really factor this in, despite there being significantly fewer games compared to, obviously, the 82 season NBA, 82 game season NBA, and 162 regular season Major League Baseball. That, you want to know which sport is our, God bless baseball, America's pastime, is oblong, is not round baseball. It is oblong football. A 2024 survey by the National Council on Problem Gambling found that risky gambling behaviors have leveled off after, good. Hey, win one for the gamblers. Has leveled off after rising significantly from 18 to 21 during the coronavirus pandemic, with Oh, I laugh because I care. So I guess I hope they didn't spend billions of dollars on this study, because I could have told you. Casey Kurtz could have told you. Patrick Young could have told you. I bet you during that crazy corona we're all stuck inside, I bet people gambled their ass off. And that's what it says here. Sports leagues and players' unions have reported upticks in threats by bettors made online. And we've heard a lot more of this. We've heard a lot more, not the professional gambler and not the professional sites, but, man, we've heard a lot more, and it's kind of spooky. Just the John or Joey Turner Wrench job guy, American Turner Wrench job guy, that loses a bet, and for some warped reason, they think the athlete on the team they bet on that lost, they owe them. Yeah, kind of spooky. Kind of spooky, definitely. And gosh, there's one more. Okay. One more thing about gambling, and we may get into this next segment. Looks like college football and Venmo, and this kind of plays into what we just talked about. College football and Venmo are working on some protective measures to cover and protect the players, because, and you got to be pretty stupid. Who was the player the other week that said something about, and in the description he said this was for a USC UCLA bet? You remember that? It appears that Venmo, because it's a money carriage type operation. If you know Venmo, you can swing money back and forth. Venmo seems to get a high preponderance of Venmo users losing money, and Venmo being the carriage, and the idiot gambler losing guy is using Venmo to basically send out threats and things like that. So Venmo is partnering up, or college football is partnering up with Venmo to kind of put some fail-safe situations in place to kind of, I don't know if they think it's going to, I'm sure they hope it's going to prevent it, for just the fact that people know it's out there, but not only prevent it in the future, but pop the people that use the Venmo vehicle to threaten and coerce and demand and ask for some money, because the bet I placed, I lost the bet, but you were a participant in the bet, the athletic event, and I'm going to hold you responsible somehow. Oh, nice, crazy world we live in. All right, let's take our first break here, cruising through hour number one, the Young and Norvelle Show, coming to you live here from, of course, you know it by now. If it's Thursday, it's the patio at Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach. Back to others' timeout. We'll take a quick lap around Major League Baseball, see how that looks, and then we'll be getting closer to the top of the hour. 5 o'clock, we'll visit with Brent Beard, go over the entire college football schedule today, kind of peek ahead to Friday and Saturday, certainly Sunday, and then Monday. Man, I wish there was a better game Monday. I'll watch the Monday game, but I wish it was just more of a competitive game on paper, not a circus with Bill Belichick. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. One segment here on the Young and Norvelle Show down, a bunch to go. We'll stay right here until 6 o'clock. Stay with us here on the Young and Norvelle Show.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
It's been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jax Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jax Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jax Beach.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
All right, back we are here on a Thursday. Terry Norvelle down at Neptune Beach, and you see a lot of rain clouds there over downtown Jacksonville. We had some rain roll through here down at the beach, and I mean, it is clear skies. God bless Florida. God bless the state of Florida. It is clear skies. The sun is out beaming right now, crystal clear skies. Now, I can't promise it'll be that way in 22 minutes, but beautiful weather down here. If you're coming home and you live in this area, if you're just looking to get out and about, and your Labor Day weekend has started, and a lot of people's Labor Day weekend has started. It is kind of the start for a lot of people, and good for you folks. But, yeah, you can't go wrong down here at Neptune Beach. Sliders, Oyster Bar. The rain has blown out. Boy, it was a battle. If you know our area, if you lived in this area for a long time, like I have, pretty much born and raised in Duval County and have lived down here just about all my life, we had one of the great intercoastal waterway storm front battles that if you know the area, you know, man, we had a storm front that was coming from town, and it had made its way coming down here toward the beach about 2 hours ago. It had made its way all the way to the intercoastal, and the beach and the storm coming from town, they were in a tug of war, basically, a battle at the intercoastal, and it was a fight. The storm coming from town won out. It came down here into Neptune Beach and Atlantic Beach and Jacksonville Beach, and but it was pleasant. It wasn't a violent storm. It was rain for about an hour. It cooled things off, and it dissipated. That's a weather word, by the way, dissipated. So great weather down here at the beach right now, and I've been saying it for a while. And it sounded crazy 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it started 2 or 3 weeks ago. right after that brutal humidity run we had. Remember, we had those 2 or 3 weeks of just somebody left the broiler on, the oven on. But it has started 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you can feel it now. I'm not saying fall is around the corner, but fall has started putting its shoes on and combing its hair and brushing its teeth. We're getting there. It's much, much, much less oppressive heat. The highs, if you look at your weather channel, the highs now in a lot of our areas, if you put in any beach town or Jacksonville or sides of town, the highs are showing, 84, 85, 82. I think Saturday down here in the Atlantic Beach area where I'm kind of at, I think the high's supposed to be 82. And I'll take that in a heartbeat, 82 right now. But it's happening. It's breaking. It really is. It really is. And if you're like me, you're ready. You're definitely ready. All right. I promise you we'll have Brent Beard about 5 o'clock today. Kind of an odd day for Brent. He's on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday a lot of times. Brent had some personal stuff going on, so he said he would volunteer and jump on today. And it's kind of a good day. I think today is really more of the college football season start. Today, you've got quite a few games on tonight, and some starting very, very quickly. Let me go ahead and paint the picture a little bit, and then we can, at the top of the hour when Brent comes on, we can kind of dive deeper into these. And let me pull up the schedule so I've got the times as well. I know most of them, but I want to have them in front of me here. And don't forget, this is kind of Lee Corso weekend as well, and that'll get started very, very soon. Okay, tonight, this afternoon. Some storylines, some games. They're not great games tonight, this afternoon, but there are 3 or 4 watchable. There's some little angles, and if you love college football, you're like me. You're going to settle in and watch. Okay, 5:30 today. Okay, we're talking a little over an hour from now, I guess. 5:30 p.m. on ESPN. This is a watchable game. It's interesting. Boise State minus Ashton Genty. So Boise State, who's ranked like 25th in the country, right around 25 in most polls. They've become a legitimate team that Boise State is a team and a program that most people think they can beat anybody on a certain day. Today, 5:30, a little over an hour ago, or from now, it's fun to watch Boise State. Boise State life after Ashton Genty, and they're playing in the state of Florida. They're playing South Florida. And you may say, well, what's the big deal with South? Okay, South Florida was 7-6 last year. I think they won a bowl game. They definitely went to a bowl game. I think South Florida, 7-6, won a bowl game. Here are 4 of South Florida's losses last year. South Florida lost to Alabama, Miami, Tulane, bowl team that Florida played, by the way, and Memphis. Memphis has turned into that level, that Boise-Memphis level, a really good program. So 4 of the 6 losses, I think they also lost to Navy, which has a funky offense, not making excuses. But South Florida's not bad. They're taking on Boise State post-Ashton Genty. Boise has to come across country, and they're playing in South Florida. Being nasty down there today at 5:30. To add on to the reason you want to watch this game a little bit, game number 2 on the Florida Gator schedule is South Florida. They're not bad. They're not bad. And I will say this, not that South Florida won't have Florida and Billy Napier's attention to a degree. South Florida's got some decent wins on their resume over the years. But Florida plays South Florida week 2. Week 2. If South Florida, and I'm not really sure. Let me see if I can find let's see what the point spread is. I think I saw 5.5. Boise State's giving 5. Yeah. Boise State minus 5.5. So South Florida is the underdog getting 5.5. Over under 61.5, it looks like. But that's not a huge number, 5.5. If you go by that, I mean, could be a decent game. I will say this, as if Florida needs more strength of schedule, What if South Florida was to knock off Boise this afternoon, again, 5:30 kickoff, you can follow that. That'll get, not that South Florida doesn't have Florida's attention, but that'll really get Florida's attention. So there's a game, 5:30, less than an hour away today, Thursday, College Football Thursday, really the start of college football. It's watchable. That's an ESPN 5:30 kick, Boise State today at South Florida. So, all right, that sets up one game. Also today, I don't know if East Carolina is very good. They are at North Carolina State. That's a 7 o'clock game tonight on ACC Network. Dave Doran's done a pretty good job at NC State over the last dozen years or so. I don't think they're loaded and are supposed to be good, but that's worth peeking at. Now, this next game, and let me find the particulars. Tonight, also 7 o'clock. You're going to have to find it on ESPN Plus somewhere. So that means you're going to be cussing a little bit, and you may throw your clicker. But I'm wondering is this next game tonight at 7 o'clock? I'm going to ask Brent Beard about this. Do we put this on upset alert? And I'm going to be the first one to say that I don't know a lot about Jacksonville State college football. I do know they went into Tallahassee and beat FSU several years ago. But the little bit I do know about Jacksonville State, they are on the road, 7 o'clock kick tonight, at UCF. Okay, at UCF. Now, you may not be aware, Jacksonville State, they're under a new coach this year because Rich Rodriguez had been there for 2 or 3 years and did really nice things. Rich Rodriguez just left Jacksonville State, and he parlayed turning that program around. Rich Rodriguez is now gone from Jacksonville State, and he's back to West Virginia, a place he had already coached at. Jacksonville State plays pretty good football. Be interesting to hear what Brent Beard says. Is this upset alert? Jacksonville State tonight, and again, that is a 7 o'clock kick, ESPN Plus in Orlando. And now, the line says UCF is giving 20.5. So UCF giving 3 touchdowns. I may be just blowing too much smoke, but Rich Rodriguez turned that program around pretty well. He turned it around good enough to where, Rich Rodriguez's career had plummeted to the level, and don't take this wrong, Jacksonville State, the Gamecocks, by the way. Rodriguez, this was Michigan's coach. This was West Virginia's coach. Rich Rodriguez turned down Alabama at one point 15 years ago. I think Jacksonville State may put up a good fight in this ball game. You might want to follow that. Okay, another game tonight that is worth at least peeking. I don't know if it's going to be a good on the scoreboard game, but an SEC team is going. You've got Central Arkansas opening up on the road at Missouri. Missouri has been at times under Eli Drinkwitz. They have been a upset machine. 7:30 tonight, SEC Network. Missouri opens their season on a Thursday night against Central Arkansas. I don't pretend to know much about Central Arkansas, and frankly, I didn't feel like diving into Central Arkansas. But you get a chance to see an SEC school open up a real game, 7:30 tonight. If you're flipping by, if you're getting up to get a cold one, and you're tired of the game you're on, take a peek at Missouri. Take a peek at what they're doing at quarterback. It'll be a quick look, maybe a very quick look. But Missouri SEC school opening up tonight against Arkansas. ACC school that might be worth a quick peek tonight. Elon is at Duke. Been playing pretty good football the last several years at Duke. Manny Diaz is over there. Riley Leonard went from Duke to Notre Dame, and he led Notre Dame to the national championship. Duke also has what they think is going to be a really nice quarterback. They got Darian Mensah from Tulane. Good player. Florida played Tulane in the bowl game last year, and he opted out. Word is this guy can really play, so it'll be at least a peek. See if he's any good. See what Duke looks like. Duke and Vanderbilt kind of same paths lately. Schools that historically just got pummeled in their conferences. And Duke's playing pretty good football the last 3 or 4 years. They really are. Duke can beat you. Duke has beaten some named opponents. So there's another one tonight. These are all tonight, this afternoon games, starting at 5:30, Boise State at South Florida. So a couple more I want to bring to your attention, and with Brent Beard in a little bit, we'll go over these and get some of Brent's thoughts. Okay, I think a terribly interesting game. I don't know much about UT Martin, University of Tennessee Martin. They are on the road, 7:30 kickoff tonight at Oklahoma State. Don't know much about UT Martin, but I know that Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State had an absolute miserable season last year. I think they ended the year on a 9-game losing streak. There was a lot of talk that Gundy wouldn't make it through the offseason. He did. Mike Gundy comes back, but man, did it look like Oklahoma State, that program had gotten stale, and they might need some leadership change. It didn't happen, but boy, does Oklahoma State need to start off just looking competent. Boy, they were an absolute mess last year. And think about it, Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State, they've played pretty high-level football. They've always missed that. They're the program, one of the programs that has always been one more win. If I had to sum up Mike Gundy's career in a quick phrase at Oklahoma State, that might be the phrase. Oklahoma State has been so close. Gundy's probably been there twice. I think he's one of the most tenured coaches in college football. Gundy and Ferentz at Iowa. I think Ferentz is one. Gundy might be two. Gundy's been there right at 20 years. But Mike Gundy, I bet you he's had 7 or 8 years where the phrase one more win would apply, and Oklahoma State would be looking at a monster season. They always come up one more win short. But, boy, it fell apart for Oklahoma State last year. 7:30, ESPN Plus. You got to go find it again. UT Martin, Oklahoma State, a game worth at least peeking. Boy, they got to look better. They looked terrible last year. And finally, one more game tonight. It's the night game. It's a little bit later. It's a 9 o'clock kick. It's a neutral site at Arrowhead. So this game will be tonight, 9 o'clock, neutral site where the Chiefs play, at the Chiefs' home stadium, Arrowhead Stadium. Interesting game. Nebraska Nebraska versus Cincinnati. Neutral site game. Matt Rule needs a win. Matt Rule at Nebraska, what is this, his 3rd year? I think he's like 12 and 13. Matt Rule does not need to open up with a loss against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a quality opponent, don't get me wrong, but Nebraska, with who they're going to play, Matt Rule needs a win tonight. Scott Satterfield, remember him by way of Louisville, a coach that was working his way up, did really nice things at Louisville, has taken over at Cincinnati. No great shakes. Scott Satterfield and Cincinnati need a win. They definitely need a win. So that wraps up what I think is the watchable games tonight. There's about 15, but there's 6 or 7 little storylines. That's a 9 o'clock kick, as I said. Nebraska at Cincinnati, neutral site. Nebraska minus 6.5. So Nebraska favor. They're giving 6.5. Over under 51.5. Let me see some of these other lines of these games. Oklahoma State, a huge favorite, almost 4-touchdown favorite. I just want to see how they look. The game's at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater. Oklahoma State, they, as much as anybody in the country, probably need a 45-point win. And they're highly favored. But I just want to look at them. Duke, as I mentioned, Duke is a huge favorite over Elon. I wouldn't mind seeing the quarterback from Tulane. I heard he was really good, the transfer portal guy that is now at Duke, Mensa. Duke should not be pushed, but just kind of see how Duke looks again. I mean, Duke has played good football. They've mirrored Vanderbilt the last couple of years. I mean, the old Duke, your grandfather's Duke, you better show up or you're going to be in a dogfight. A couple more games that we looked at. Certainly Missouri won't be pushed necessarily, but anytime you get a chance to see an SEC school tonight, Missouri, opening up their season 7:30, SEC Network against Central Arkansas, Missouri will win the game and win it big. I'm curious, though. Let me take a quick peek here as we are approaching the top of the hour. Missouri has been pretty good about, I think, bringing in portal-type quarterbacks. Let's see what Missouri is looking like. Okay, Bo Prabula, he is the guy that never could win playing time at Penn State. Got stuck behind Drew Aller. So the kid from Penn State will be the quarterback, and Missouri opens up tonight. I'll take a quick peek just to see what Missouri looks like now. A couple more before we get out of here on a break here, starting to close up the top of the hour. That was Missouri. Other games we talked about. And we talked a little bit about Jacksonville State. Rich Rodriguez has left there. He went back to West Virginia in the offseason, but he turned Jacksonville State around. Jacksonville State has played good football. They jumped up into Division I football. Jacksonville State tonight at UCF, 7 o'clock, ESPN Plus, so you're going to find it. UCF right at a 20-point favorite. They're giving about 20 and a half. I don't know. Just keep an eye on that game. I don't know much about Jacksonville State, but I would imagine that the tenure of Rich Rodriguez and the way they won some good games, I would think there's still some pretty good talent. I mentioned I didn't know a whole lot about East Carolina. They are at NC State. This might be a little dicey game. This is little brother, big brother, and little brother is probably not so far away from big brother. East Carolina certainly is not NC State in stature, in conference, blah, 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 blah. 7 o'clock tonight, ACC Network. NC State at home, Carter Finley Stadium, Raleigh, North Carolina. NC State, 13.5-point favorite. So just at a 2-touchdown favorite. Now, sounds pretty good, but, you mess around and you're up. Let's say you're up by that point spread. You're up by 2 touchdowns, fourth quarter. Something stupid happens. A fluke touchdown. All of a sudden, you're trying to get some first downs. That might be watchable. That might be upset alert. Just on upset alert. And then we go to Boise. We started this segment out. Boise State. Now, remember Boise State, you remember a couple, 3-4 years ago, it was still a Taggart. So I guess it was over 6 years ago because Mike Norvelle is in his 6th year, going into his 6th. So it's probably 5 or 6 years ago. You remember Florida State. Let's piece this thing together. Florida State under Willie Taggart, one of the Taggart years. Trying to get my memory, and Brent will help me with this. Florida State was scheduled to open a Taggart season in Jacksonville against Boise State, right? They'll play here in Jacksonville. Quasi-neutral state game. Of course, that wasn't neutral. Was it COVID? Something made the game move out of Jacksonville, and it went to like the next day, and they quickly played it in Tallahassee. It was the opener, and all summer long, everybody that knows anything about college football had storyline number one. Oh, my God, Boise State's got to come about 2,500 miles, almost across country. Boise State is going to wilt in the heat. The Florida Heat, Florida State's going to win that game. Boise's pretty good, but, man, Boise State, my goodness, how did they agree to an opener in the state of Florida? They're going to wilt. I remember that storyline. Brent Beard will further that storyline. That was storyline 1, 2, and 3. Boise State, yeah, they'll probably play good for a little while, but, man, FSU is going to wear them down in this early season heat. It's almost going to be unfair. Remember how the game played out? Boise shows up. The game gets played in Tallahassee, TV game, and Florida State wilted like they've never been outside in on a day that was over 80 degrees. Boise State got stronger and finished strong. Florida State literally wilted in their own heat, and that was one of the storylines. The bigger storyline was that Boise State beat Florida State. But I'll never forget that. How in the world Boise State acted like they had been playing and practicing in tropical hot Florida their whole life. Their whole lives. Boise State in that game today, which is coming up in about 35 minutes. 5:30 kickoff, ESPN, the big boy network. Boise State at South Florida. I would imagine starting tonight, you're going to see a lot of you're going to start seeing some Corso references and things like that, which you should. But that's a 5:30 game, so 35 minutes away. Raymond James Stadium down in Tampa. It's going to be hot. It's going to be sticky. Going to be humid. South Florida, Boise State. Boise, a 5.5-point favorite, so they're giving away 5.5 points. Could be a pretty good game. And that's probably the reason that it's one of the lead games of the doubleheader. The doubleheader tonight of all these opener games, Boise State, South Florida, 5:30. And a lot of people I heard earlier in the week, well, 5:30, what's the deal? Well, I think they're kind of banking that kickoff time and doing a doubleheader with Nebraska, Cincinnati. They're banking that kickoff time on what we talked about 20 minutes ago. A lot of people have started their Labor Day weekend. This isn't a standard 5:30 Thursday in college football season. I think a lot of people are off, and they're kind of saying, hey, we can start a 5:30 and then a 9. I think, is that right? 9 o'clock, I think, is the Nebraska. Yeah, so that's your doubleheader on Big Boy ESPN, the big network. 5:30, Boise State at South Florida, and then Nebraska, Cincinnati, 9 o'clock, neutral site, Arrowhead Stadium. But yeah, I think that's if those were your two games 3 weeks from now, I think this Boise State game would start at 7, and then maybe the second game 9, and you may have the second game start a little over top of it. So that's pretty much how I think that set up. All right, kind of set up the schedule. We'll go over with Brent Beard, of course, his college football news and notes. He'll have some additional addendums to throw in on all of these games. All right, let's take a break. We'll reset. Brent, I think Brent Beard will be with us at the top of the hour, and we'll stay with college football, and then we'll try to work in some baseball as we cruise through a Thursday edition, thanking our good friends, as always, our longtime Thursday sponsors here, Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach. Back after this quick timeout. Man, I'm excited. I hope you are as well. I know our next guest, who is basically a regular on the show, Mr. Brent Beard, is excited as we continue some college football talk. Brent, number one, welcome. Number two, I kind of set the stage today. Really, in 30 minutes, you've got a kickoff.
You really do.
And South Florida in probably maybe the best game of the day. Before we get all that, I wanted to back up. I've got news and notes for college, not college, but Major League Baseball. And we may or may not get to that, after we're done with college football and things like that, and you may be gone. Are you one of those guys? I think you are. And if I'm wrong, correct me. You're a North Florida Braves fan, but they were so bad. I don't think you really. I don't think you really ever jumped on the baseball train this year, did you?
No, look, I tried to do it, and I've loved the Braves for years. I started into the when they were playing on TBS, and when they were awful, and then they were frankly very good. But boy, this has just been a horrible year.
It really has. It really has.
They have got. And they really need to spend these next 25 to 30 games trying to do something for next year. Obviously that they'll have a new manager, which is probably time for that.
Yeah.
Snedeker really has done a good job. Give him credit for that. But Terry, they have never gotten, I think, really set. Particularly in their pitching, they've got way too many injuries. And their everyday players, they've got the same thing. So look, I enjoyed the playoffs when they began, like everybody else does. But the reality is, being a Braves fan, it's been a woeful year, hasn't it?
And it really is. And and certainly you're on for college football, and we'll get on to it. But if you think about it, if you are not located in one of the 30, or I guess maybe some cities share, so 28 or whatever it is, MLB cities. If you're not located in one of those cities, if you're outside of those cities and your favorite team, the Braves or the Rockies, they get off to a miserable start, it's hard, man. Because the beauty of baseball, I think Major League Baseball, is 162 games. You know who's the best teams, right? The ugly wart of baseball, if you've got a bad team, it's a long damn season.
It is.
It's a long damn season. And, who wants to – and I get it. You should root for your team. But it does have to be hard to, get dinner set up on a Tuesday night, get your easy chair set up, and watch your team lose game number 84.
Yeah.
80.
Oh,
yeah. But I did know you were a baseball guy. All right, Brent, I want to ask a couple more things. This hit me today, and if you don't want me to use it, feel free. I shouldn't ask you on the air. I want to call you our college football savant. Can I call you you're our college football Rain Man is what you are. You're our college football Rain Man. Brent, I'm excited. I didn't know I was going to feel this way today, but today is way more opening day college football to me than last. Am I right, Brent?
Oh yeah. Listen, you and I have thought alike for years.
Yeah.
And it's funny you said that, because I was just thinking the same thing. Now look, I like week 0. It was fun to watch Iowa State and Kansas State, and they were struggling. But it was a close game. Look, I even enjoyed the Hawaii game, frankly. Just because of the same thing. But Terry, it has nothing even close to the pull, does it? That tonight, tomorrow night, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday will have on the college football fan. And that, frankly, is the way it ought to be.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brent. So we've got probably, in terms of Division I games, maybe not everybody's facing a Division I, but your Division I got about 15 games tonight. I've listed. I set up last segment 7 or 8 of them, and I kind of went through them. And I said, "Well, Brent's going to come on. I'd like him. Let me just bounce some of these." Number one, the best game of the day, and I say day because they're going to kick this bad boy off in 25 minutes.
They really are.
Boise State, and they've done it before. They've come all the way and beat Florida State. Boise State minus Ashton Genty, the great running back. They're taking on South Florida. South Florida, obviously it's going to be hot and humid in Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
South Florida was 7-6 a year ago. And don't forget, 4 of their losses, Alabama, Miami, Tulane, and Memphis.
Yeah.
South Florida's not bad. And Brent, address this. If you're a Gator fan, you might want to watch this game. Florida plays South Florida week 2. This is going to be a pretty good football game, maybe.
I agree totally. That I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, it's here's the strange thing about it, and I'm sure this is TV. Help me if you know more about this. It's a 5:30 start, which is quite unusual.
Yeah.
But the thing that does is it gets a lot of people who are just walking in the door, and they want to see some football. I mean, Ohio at Rutgers, ECU at NC State, another one. UCF is playing tonight. Is that Jacksonville State? Is that who that is?
Yeah, and I've got that down on the list. But let me back up to what you just said. I addressed that, and I think I've got this right. The 5:30 kick today in 22 minutes, Boise State at South Florida in Tampa. Okay, 5:30. Well, 2 things I think are factoring in. I don't think it would have been 5:30 in 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks.
Right.
But number one, it's the first of a doubleheader. So they're chasing that with Nebraska, Cincinnati at 9.
Right.
But Brent, I think the 5:30 kick is awkward, but I think the theory is a lot of people start taking their Labor Day weekend off, right? I think this is not a traditional 5:30 kick like it would be in 3 weeks, because I think a lot of people Thursday starts their Labor Day extended weekend. So I think the time is the reason the time is that, and then it's part of that doubleheader. But I think Boise, we looked at it. Boise's only a 5.5 point favorite, so they're only giving away 5.5 points. Some of the intrigue, I think, from a national standpoint, is a lot of people will watch this game coming up at 5:30. Man, life after Ashton Genty. I mean, this is Boise State trying to go without Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
But South Florida's pretty good. This might be a pretty good game, Brent.
It might. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And now you've got Alabama State at UAB, which is on ESPN Plus. And then you've got on the Big Ten Network, you've got the late game of Miami Ohio at Wisconsin. Yeah. Now, Wisconsin goes to Tuscaloosa in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow, how about that? So there's a reason for an Alabama fan to watch.
Oh, yeah, to play Alabama. So, and look, Terry, I think since they've had ESPN, they've had NC State play on the Thursday.
And Brent, you and I know that because we love the Thursday game. And you and I went over this about 2 weeks ago. If they would let me and you program the Thursday night game all season, NC State is the perfect team, home or away. Really I mean, how good NC State on a Thursday taking on Louisville? I'd watch the hell out of it. Let's say they crossed into the SEC. NC State taking on Mississippi State. I'd watch the hell out of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Hell out of that.
Well, but see, the problem is, and this is in general for college football, I'm not going to say they've given up Thursday night.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways they have, and they used to own Thursday night, and they let the NFL take it over. Look, there is no reason why you can't have a college game and an NFL game on Thursday night, because frankly, if one of them gets out of hand, you can go watch the other one.
Yeah.
And Terry, most people have got 2 or 3 TVs in their living room that they can watch or channel surf for a bit.
Absolutely. And I remember vividly a topic you and I had not long ago. And I don't want to blow our own horn, but Brent, literally, if you and I went to the NCAA football meetings, when and wherever they're at, and they gave you and I 10 minutes to discuss what you just talked about, scheduling Thursday night.
Yes.
I think you and I could give a great dissertation on, hey, college football, it's time to quit cowering down to the NFL. You're never gonna beat the NFL. The NFL is a monster. You're not gonna chip away. NFL fans are watching, but that being the case, do your thing, because you can't even throw a jab punch at the 800-pound monster.
No.
They're the NFL. Why cower down to them? Do your thing, because they're going to squash you anyway. Right?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Well, but here's the thing that I've always said about this. There are a lot of NFL games, frankly. I know it's NFL, but they're not very good.
Horrible games.
So
I also like what you said. Sorry to cut you off. What you said a moment ago. Once the season gets going, the NFL loves Thursday. They've taken it over. College football's cowered down. Along the lines of, why cower down? You're never going to beat them anyway. So go ahead and get in the race. Why not? And you make a good point. You could almost start. You could stagger them a good hour and a half. And you know what? If the NFL game is unbelievable and the college game's terrible, go to the NFL game.
Sure.
If the NFL game is horrible, and a lot of NFL games are terrible, the NFL fans probably going to stay on their game, but at least maybe the college game would be ending with a barn burner fourth quarter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and see, another thing is Friday night, and now tomorrow night you've got Auburn at Baylor, which is a humongous game for Auburn. And then you've got two former national champions.
Yes.
Although it's been a while, Georgia Tech and Colorado at 9:00. But see, my problem with Friday night football is I don't know how many fans it costs.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
The high schools that really deserve the money and the people being there. But that's what you've got, and they've been afraid of Thursday night now with the NFL. So I mean, our point is, we know who's going to win the ratings, and it really doesn't matter. But
Absolutely.
I mean, go ahead and have your game so people go watch.
I know, and Friday should be sacred for the high school kids. It should be, it matters. It really does matter. If any of our high schools here, I'm really close to Fletcher, where I'm sitting at right now. On a Friday night, if Fletcher gets 4,000 fans into their stadium, that's a big deal. That's a big deal for their athletic department. What I'm going to suggest can't be done, I don't think, logistically, because there are just so many high schools in our country. But don't you wish, at least if the NFL and college football have to infringe on Friday night high school, don't you wish that they could, you would ask the NFL, hey, you need to kick in $5 million and college needs to kick in $2 million. That we can send out $25,000 to every, because I do hate that. But let's go through a couple more games. Brent Beard, our college football savant now, our Rain Man. I've got a new name. A couple other games intrigued the hell out of me tonight. I didn't realize East Carolina and NC State. We talked about NC State. This game, I don't know much about it, East Carolina, but you're talking about a not quite 2 touchdown. I mean, it's not like NC State's a 30-point favorite here. That might be a watchable game. And I've always liked Dave Doran coach teams. I think he's solid.
I agree. Yeah. And look, East Carolina has always kind of thought they were better than they actually are. But look, in a game like this, Terry, this is a rivalry game. In essence, East Carolina fans, I'm sure, probably think they ought to be in the ACC. And frankly, there are probably years where they're as good as the bottom of the league. So, this would be a pretty good game.
And, I kind of set up these 7 or 8 games for when you came on today. And this is one I called, this is almost a classic little brother, big brother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not little brother, big brother when it comes to like Alabama versus, Vandy.
Yeah.
But in their own areas, NC State's a big brother to East Carolina. This would be a big game. Talk to me a little bit, because this game intrigues me. Jacksonville State is at UCF tonight, okay?
Yes.
And we I don't know if a lot of people realize Rich Rodriguez went back to now he's gone on to West Virginia. He went back to West Virginia. But Rich Rodriguez rebuilt his career at Jacksonville State. He turned them into a pretty good program, Division I.
Yeah.
I think, let me take a look real quick. I think UCF is like a 20-point favorite.
Yeah.
Why is that? And I don't know a lot about, and Rodriguez has left back to West Virginia, but I got to believe he's left some pretty good players back at Jacksonville State. That might be a decent little game early.
It really might. I would agree with that. And look, and UCF is always intriguing for us.
Absolutely.
I mean, they are. I mean, they're what, Terry? 6-5, 7-4, maybe.
Yeah.
Most years, Scott Frost and what he has done there. I don't think there's any question that makes it fascinating, frankly. And look, you've got this 9:00 game with Nebraska, who's at Cincinnati, and Terry, you and I both know now that they're better coached than they were with Scott Frost, ironically enough, with Scott Frost there. But that game can get pretty crazy, frankly.
And what a weird later on in the season, this game is actually going to happen. But let me paint the picture in a weird way, and I want you to tell me about, in a nutshell, it seems like Jacksonville State, that's a school in Alabama, for people that don't know. Yes. They've gone Division I. They want to be good.
Yeah.
I think they've pushed chips in the table, right? They've built facilities. Yeah. But how about this? Jacksonville State, they open up tonight. Rich Rodriguez was their coach the last 3 or 4 years, really got the program off going.
He did.
And they play good football. So Rich Rodriguez has left to go back to West Virginia. Jacksonville State is playing UCF tonight. Scott Frost is back at UCF. He left, but he came back. And then later this year, UCF plays West Virginia. So you'll have returning coach versus return. How weird is that?
Yeah, it is. Listen, I don't remember the last time we had a situation like that. I mean, that it's almost unprecedented, and that game is going to get a lot of attention just because of both these guys coming back. But look, if I was, and you see this in these games, if you're Boise, if you're South Florida, if you're ECU or NC State, I mean, Buffalo is playing Minnesota. Certainly, if you're UAB, and then Georgia Tech or Colorado tomorrow night. I mean, Terry, to me, you don't play every one of your games like this, but here's the thing: when you play games like this, not only do you get a lot of people watching you that normally wouldn't be watching you if you're on Saturday, but you actually get a couple of days off going on the next week
for your next game. A couple more games with Brent Beard here. As today we've pretty much christened. I think this is opening day.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's opening day. Certainly, this next game won't have intrigue, but it'll be fun. You can't pass up watching a few minutes of an SEC team. Missouri will host Central Arkansas. Missouri quarterback Chris Bula, I think is his name. He's a transfer from Penn State. Yeah. Obviously, Drew Allen locked that job down. I might watch a few minutes of that just to see what that quarterback looks like from Penn State at Missouri.
No, look, there's no doubt about that at all. I mean, and look, Missouri, and a lot of it is with the schedule, Terry, but the reality is, I mean, Missouri they could be pretty decent, frankly. And look, if you got Central Arkansas, Kansas be interesting, Louisville, I mean, the first three you ought to be able to win. And then you've got a very intriguing game with South Carolina. Terry, here's the reality. Then they've got the week off where they play Alabama. They may only, going in that Alabama game, they may only have one loss.
Missouri's been good for the SEC. They have been that quintessential rock in your shoe.
Yeah.
Right? They're the rock in the shoe, and you better get it out or it's going to be a long race. And they're going to beat you. Drinkwitz has got that almost irritating personality it's great for the underdog program that they are.
It is.
And Missouri's fun. They're just good enough to worry the hell out of you. I don't care if you're Alabama or LSU or who you are. Brent, I don't think this next game is going to be intriguing, but I want to just peek. Duke is hosting Elon. The game won't be great. Duke has another quarterback transfer. Obviously, they lost Riley Leonard a couple years ago to Notre Dame, and Diaz has done a pretty good job coaching there.
He truly has.
And Duke is a lot like Vanderbilt. Duke and Vanderbilt can beat your butt. Duke got the quarterback who transferred Mensah, I believe is how you pronounce it, Darian Mensah. He transferred from Tulane. Florida didn't play him. He skipped the bowl game. He's supposed to be a real nice player. That's kind of like Missouri, worth about a 5-minute watch to see, to see how he looks. Brent, the next game, 2 more I want to go over with you.
Sure.
Brent Beard talking some college football as, we are now just about kickoff at that 5:30 game with Boise State and USF. Brent, UT Martin will not be a threat. They are at Oklahoma State. What a disaster last year for Mike Gundy in Oklahoma. They ended on a 9-game losing streak. They were not competitive. They got beat like 52-0 in their final game. They mailed it in. And Brent, I think you and me and a lot of college football, we weren't sure Mike Gundy was going to make it to this season, and he did. But man, Oklahoma State's they've got to put this thing back together because they were a disaster last year, Brent.
Listen, Terry, people may not realize this, but Mike Gundy almost got that Tennessee job not once, not twice, but 3 times.
How about that?
3 times. He was involved with that. Now, look, it depends on who you ask about how deep and wide he was involved with. But, I mean, Mike Gundy, frankly, Terry, is he at the point now to where, I mean, could he go anywhere else?
His window may have closed.
Yeah.
And the scary thing is his window may have closed where his agent, everybody picks up the call.
Yes.
And I just think, I'm not blaming Gundy. I think he's a decent coach.
Yes.
But his window's closed, I think, and he's at a very stale, his situation is stale on both sides. Just stale. But my God, they were terrible. Brett, before you came on, I went down these games, and I hope people remember Mike Gundy's tenure. And I think he's like the second most tenured coach next to Ferentz at Iowa. There were, Brett, you know this. There were 5 or 6 years, and I called it before you came on today. Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy. If I had to describe they had 6 or 7 years where they were 1 game away.
Yeah, they really were.
They never won that next game, but I mean, they were 1 game away.
Correct.
From a big season. He had 3 or 4 seasons that were 1 game away.
He did.
Man, it got away. It got away bad. They're on a 9-game losing streak. And who was it? I'll look it up real quick. They got beat 52-0, I think. They're Oklahoma State. Let me look it up, Brent, real quick. Their final game, the taste they have in their mouth, let me look it up, 159, real quick. The taste, how about going into the offseason with a 50? I'm almost sure their final game, I want to look this up real quick.
Sure.
Deion Sanders and Colorado beat Oklahoma State, final game last year, 52-0.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the taste they have. They opened up 3-0. They beat Arkansas in double overtime. Probably should have lost that game. They opened up 3-0, and they lost. They're on a 9-game losing streak. They're going to beat UT Martin, and then they are at Oregon next week.
Oh yeah, and just some real some real odd scores there. I mean, they lost by 3 to Utah.
Mm-hmm.
They lost by 3 to BYU. But yeah, I'm sure they were absolutely out of gas by the Colorado thing. But yeah, Gundy's been there 21 years.
How about that? I think Ferentz is the only guy longer at his school at Iowa.
Yeah, man.
Brent, one more tonight, then we'll spend a few minutes. I don't think we'll visit tomorrow, so let's do a little bit on the two games tomorrow. Auburn, and I'm putting a note here real quick to talk to you about it. The second game, the second really watchable game, it's the 9 o'clock. It's by the way, neutral site at Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, where the Chiefs play. Nebraska is playing Cincinnati tonight at 9.
Yes.
And man, Matt Rule, he's like 12-13 or 13-12 and 2. He needs to win tonight.
He
and
does.
Scott Satterfield, boy, remember Satterfield when he was at Louisville, he was kind of hot guy. He was kind of hot guy. And Cincinnati, they want to win there. They got a pretty good passionate fan base.
Absolutely.
These two coaches need a win tonight, both of them.
Badly. And it's good that game's at 9 o'clock, so you'll get over at midnight. But look, when we're up watching ball, that's really all that matters.
Sure.
After you get involved with this. So no, I'm with you. It's a great night. The 5:30 start for Boise State. UCF will throw a few folks off, but that's okay too. But having Missouri play still is fun just to have an SEC team playing.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, Brent. I don't think we'll visit tomorrow, being Friday. We normally we do, and it's totally up to your schedule. In case we don't visit tomorrow, going into the big weekend, two really intriguing games tomorrow.
No doubt.
And I know you and I went back and forth. We weren't sure. I saw one 9 o'clock kickoff, but it looks like, unfortunately, tomorrow's two intriguing games are both at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Auburn at Baylor, 8 o'clock Fox. I'm looking at. Obviously, that is at Baylor, as I said. And then Georgia Tech tomorrow night at Colorado, also 8 o'clock. One's on Fox, one's on ESPN. Let's talk real quick. Auburn, I'm showing Auburn a 2.5 point under. They're giving 2, so they're favored by 2 on the road. I think that's a pick'em game. And speaking of both coaches that need a win, my goodness, somebody, that's a tough reconvene on Saturday if you get that loss right out of the gate, Baylor or Auburn.
Well, and what you don't know right now about Auburn is Jackson Arnold could be great, the Oklahoma transfer, or he could be awful. Now, Auburn has got, if people haven't seen Auburn yet, Auburn has got some really good wide receivers.
Yeah.
Now, Terry and I aren't saying Jackson Arnold can get him the ball.
I know.
But Cam Coleman, for instance, is one. I think defensively they'll be better. Auburn will, but look, this is a big game for Auburn because you've got at Baylor, Ball State, South Alabama, and then Lord Terry, and Oklahoma and A&M. Then you've got a week off, and we play Georgia. Then you play Missouri.
Oh,
so look, Auburn in that gauntlet of at Oklahoma and A&M, the Georgia games at Auburn, but it really doesn't matter. They're not going to beat Georgia, and frankly, they may not beat Missouri either.
Ooh.
So
man, they need that win, Auburn, and so does Baylor. Man, that's what makes it so intriguing. Brent, second game tomorrow, 8 o'clock. I love this game. I love Georgia Tech. I've always kind of had a soft spot. I like them. I love Haynes King. They've got a great running back, Haynes, as well. Georgia Tech is at Colorado. That is in Boulder. And we want to talk about Ralphie in a minute. But Georgia Tech is giving 4.5. I would have them as the favorite as well. And you know what? I'm intrigued with Colorado and Dion. It's been a nice. I think you can understand when I say this. it's been a nice professional offseason for Deion, I think.
It has.
He hasn't been bombastic Deion. He hasn't been wacko. That game intrigues the hell out of me. Georgia Tech intrigues me. And what's Colorado going to look like? I can't wait for that game tomorrow.
That's gonna be that's gonna be a lot of fun. And I'll tell you what part of the Deion thing is he had the help me on what his he had surgery for and I'll think of it in a minute, but it was pretty serious surgery that could have been or maybe was cancerous. But I understand he's doing okay now. But at the same time, look, the thing you and I will always remember about Tech from last year is Tech, frankly, how they lost the Georgia game is on me.
Yeah, and real quick before we get off this game, one or two more topics with Brent Beard, and we'll let you go, Brent. Here, as and by the way, it does feel like the holiday weekend that started.
It does.
It really does. In addition to Deion's health issue that you referenced, and shame on me, I can't remember, but it was serious this offseason. He lost the toe the previous offseason.
He did.
He's had a toe amputated. So, Deion's had some tough. But, I've always liked Deion. You got to take it with a grain of salt. It was almost like, I don't know if it's the kids are gone or whatever. Deion had a professional offseason, I think.
He did.
He wasn't bombastic. Did you hear the story, though? We talked yesterday, Brent, and you had some personal stuff. You couldn't come on, so we couldn't talk about it. Have you heard the story about Ralphie, the Colorado mascot?
What Terry, was it that they're not letting him come in, or what?
Well, here's the deal. The game tomorrow is at Colorado, so it's a Colorado home game. Ralphie 6 is actually a female.
Yeah.
And Ralphie 6, they will not have Ralphie at their home stadium at all tomorrow because they're basically retiring Ralphie 6 because and nothing bad. She's going to get sent out to a posh area and just eat grass and do what buffaloes do. But the word is Ralphie 6. They started noticing it last year, and they've dubbed it. She has an indifference to running. She doesn't like to run. That's what they call it, Brent, an indifference to running.
Oh, Lord.
You have to run all around the field, right?
You do.
So,
absolutely.
So of course, they treat these mascots, like queens and kings. They've made the handlers and all of them made this. Hey, look, you don't make an animal do something they don't want to do. She doesn't really like to run. She's got an indifference. So they're replacing her, but the new buffalo will not be ready or participate. So no Ralphie tomorrow. That's sad.
Well, that is sad. Look, I remember the times, and you've seen this too, where Ralphie got loose.
Yes.
And there, how many people have to hold?
I think it's like 6, 3 on each, three guys on each side. Yeah.
Lord.
They said that obviously Ralphie, and they've had 6 of them now. They'll go to number 7.
Yeah.
Those big old buffaloes, they weigh 3,000 pounds, 225. And they in the article I read, those buffalo, when they do their run, they get up to like 25 miles an hour.
Man.
You're being drugged by that thing, man.
Now listen, this is something when we talk about it as the season goes long. I mean, don't you think this is Deion's last season there?
Yeah, you wonder. You really wonder.
I wonder if he had not been sick and had the surgery, if he would be somewhere else at this point. Now, I will say this: if he wants to take a step up, I mean, he could. Now, look, Terry, let's put on your AD hat for a minute. If you're a school and you want some publicity, even if they're 500 this year, you'd make a run at him, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And it's funny you said that. Provided they don't fall off the map and go 3-9 and look bad doing it. I could see Deion. He carves out 6 or 7 wins, goes to a little bowl game, gets an 8th win.
Yeah,
I could see him thinking, okay, Colorado, you've been good to me, but in Colorado, you're Power 4, but you're not a big boy Power 4. I could see him, if an SEC or a Big Ten, snoops around the hen house. I could see that.
But Terry, would he would he fit in at Kentucky? Or
we always try to put somebody at Kentucky. I like that.
Yeah. But look, no.
Yeah.
I like Stoops, but I don't know if that thing's going anywhere. But boy, a Dion would give him a real shot.
You made me think there. A lot of similarities between Mark Stoops, longtime Kentucky coach, has taken them to another level, and he's been one win away. A lot of comparison between Mark Stoops at Kentucky and our boy Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. They've been one win away a couple of years. They couldn't get it. Brent, I want your thoughts on this, if you have any. If you don't, I don't want to force you on this. And I'm not so sure this isn't a publicity stunt, or is it legit? Do you have any thoughts on this whole Ohio State Dave Portnoy? You can't come in.
Yeah.
Is that a circus? Is it real? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, they're keeping him out, and I don't quite,
just because he talks bad about Ohio State. He's a Michigan guy. That's basically it.
But I mean, Terry, why in the world, in situations like that, do schools make themselves look like the bad guy?
Absolutely.
By keeping him out. I mean, Terry, if you let him in, nobody even knows he's there.
And Casey and I talked about this week. It could be. I'm not saying it is. Stranger things have happened if this is not a scripted thing to make people watch. But I don't really think it is. And under the guidelines of if it's a legitimate story, Brent, the first thing that came to mind, and I'm going to stay with this, Ohio State University, a massive Big Ten school, 60,000 students. They've got every major in the world. They've got every college you can have.
Yeah.
Brent, how do you look at if you're Ohio State, the AD, the president, how do you Monday morning, if they hold him out and don't let him in because he's a Michigan guy and he talks bad about Ohio State, how do you look at your College of Journalism and Communications and say, hey, when we talk about ethics and freedom of speech, forget that. I mean, how do you look at your College of Communications and Journalism in the eye if you're going to practice censorship, basically?
How
do you do that?
Yeah, well, it's ridiculous, frankly. And again, the thing I say is let him in, and people will ignore him after a while. I mean, it's not like he is going to have that many people, but see what they've done now by keeping him out, unless they miraculously come up with some kind of an agreement.
And they may on Friday afternoon.
They might. Oh yeah. But I mean, Terry, if you let him in, people are going to pretty well ignore him. If you don't ignore him, and you keep him out, he's going to make people mad at you. So what does Ohio State gain by doing this?
And which is one of the small reasons I think this story could be contrived. Keep in mind the story they're chasing, and they're gonna lose this battle unless they stir it up. They're chasing Lee Corso this Saturday.
Yeah, sure they are.
So it's gonna be hard to beat that out. By the way, Boise and South Florida have kicked off. Boise has the ball, no score, very, very early. Brent, last thing I promised. And yesterday I got into this a little bit, and I wanted to throw it your way. We talked about Jacksonville State and how good they play football and where their program is going. South Alabama is also playing pretty good football. Do you think, and Casey and I kicked this around yesterday, do you think in his wildest dreams 2 years ago, the former South Alabama quarterback, Gio Lopez, 2 years ago, do you think he ever thought, I'm going to be the starting quarterback on a team coached by Bill Belichick? He got named, and do you know much about it? They say this kid, Gio Lopez, is pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. Look, he is. There's no way. He did a great job at South Alabama, frankly. Yeah. Now, Terry, here's my question to you. Now, Monday night, 8:00, people have had a long weekend.
Yeah.
They've ate and drank themselves into a stupor. They've been off all day Monday.
Yeah.
Now when they listen, when it's funny what you and I get into, but when they have been better off playing that game early, because I'm just telling you, by 9 o'clock, if that game's not very compelling, and or people are going to be asleep and just going to bed at 9 o'clock, 9:30 with that game.
Brent, I hear you. And you and I have followed this sport a long time, and there have been a lot of standalone Labor Day night games.
Yes.
Florida State's played Pittsburgh one night. I mean, there have been, and Brent, that is a tough. I'm with you there. That final game of this extended weekend, that's a tough watch.
It is.
You're beat up, as you said. No matter what, I don't care if you're a party guy or just family guy. You're beat up a little bit. You can see Monday morning, which is really Tuesday morning, but it's really the start of getting back in the swing. Yeah. You make a good point. Okay, if you want to be a standalone Labor Day, kick that bad boy off at 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kick that bad boy off at 6 and end it at 9. Don't be going into the second quarter at 9, Now,
the last thing we need in that game is if North Carolina not to be able to do anything and just to see Belichick mad on the sidelines. Now, Terry, okay, what will be the over and under with the girlfriend as far as appearances, and will they try to hide her? I don't think you can do that.
Yeah.
But she certainly won't be on the sidelines.
And she sounds, Jordan Hudson, I think's her name.
Yeah.
She sounds like, and kind of, I don't know much about her, but she's been in the media a lot, and she sounds like somebody's got a little streak to her.
Yeah.
I don't think she would play well if Belichick said, "Hey, sweetheart, why don't you kind of sit this one out?" I think she's going to say, "No. I'm not gonna make it look like I was pressured." So she got a little moxie in her. I hate to use that word, but I would say it's got to be. You got to set it at 10, don't you? Just hammer shots on her. 10.
Now, by the way, that game next year, when the North Carolina TCU is already going to be a week 0 game, right?
In Dublin. That's the Dublin game. How about that? And how about this? Nothing says college football. We talked about this yesterday. Nothing says college football like Dublin, Ireland for next year's TCU North Carolina rematch, and Frankfurt, Germany for Michigan, Western Michigan.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, now look, the reality of this is now it's only maybe next year, maybe the last one. But you and I both know they want week 0 to be week 1.
Yeah.
It's where we're going with this. And it may take 2 or 3 years. But I'm just wondering, Terry, and it may not be, but are these over the pond games? Or are they wearing on people and they may be done pretty soon?
Yeah, you wonder. You just wonder. And again, I get it. Money talks. And what do we say? Aer Lingus is the big international airline that throws a lot of money. And the Visit Ireland group, I don't know if I got the right title, but those are your two. You can tell by watching the game, those are your two big sponsors. And they're trying to reach the American audience.
Sure.
A lot of money. But my issue is, Brent, it's asinine to play those games way over there. I understand they're buying the advertising. I get that. But can't you find domestic money and still play those games here? I think there's domestic money you could find. So.
And by the way, Terry, Saturday is going to be incredibly interesting with all these SEC teams on the road and what might happen. Listen, you and I both know, I don't think it will, but man, oh man, the last thing the SEC needs is a disaster on the road on that Saturday, correct?
Yeah, definitely. You let Clemson knock off LSU, and you don't need stuff like that. You don't need Ohio State to rough up Texas.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Brent, we kept you very, very long. Thanks for filling in on an off day normally. We'll let you go. He is our college football savant. We call him our college football Rain Man. A new name for Brent Beard, our college football Rain Man. By the way, it may be being reviewed, but Boise State was driving down the field, a catch and a pretty hard hit by South Florida defender, possibly a fumble. So that game very early, no score. One of the good games today, tonight. Brent, enjoy the games today, this weekend if we don't speak, and we'll do it again. We'll have a lot of stuff to talk about next week.
Boy, I tell you one thing, Terry, it really is, and I hope everybody enjoys the weekend. It's here, and look, college football may need to work on. You can't do this every week. I understand it, but I tell you, the Thursday through Monday thing is just tremendous, frankly.
It really is. It really is. If they would let you and I tweak it just a little bit.
Yep.
It doesn't need much. If they called us, Brent, we will do it. We're not going to call them. They need to call us. Right. Thank you, Brent Beard. Have a good rest of your day, buddy. Enjoy college. That is our main man, college football savant, our college football rain man. He knows a lot about it, and we enjoy him sharing his knowledge. Let's take a quick break, come back, real quick reset, taking a look at Major League Baseball, and we'll get out of here and start watching some college football all day and all night here on a Thursday edition of the Young and Norvelle Show, live from Sliders Oyster Bar.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jack's Beach.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
To wrap things up here on a Thursday live from the patio, starting to fill up, happy hour going well. You can kind of feel it's the Labor Day weekend. Most people, a lot of people anyway, have knocked off for the extended weekend, and it's got that feel. Fun place to hang out. I'm on the patio. Patio starting to fill up. Inside full-service beverage bar starting to fill up. Johnny Pop's Oyster Bar, the world-famous Sliders Oyster Bar, starting to fill up. Going to be fun. They'll have entertainment all weekend. Fun place to hang out. Have a cool drink. If you're heading to the beach, leaving from the beach, just people watching. Fun place. Take my word. If you know, you know. If you don't know, if you're in the Neptune Beach area over the next several days, anytime, but over the next several days, you cannot go wrong stopping in for whatever you want to get done at Sliders Oyster Bar. Yes, in fact, as we went to break, tracking the Boise State South Florida game taking place in Tampa at South Florida. Kickoff was 5:30. Boise State took the opening kickoff of the game. They drove down to about the 30-yard line of South Florida. There was a catch, hit, and fumble. South Florida recovered. Did not do much with that. As a matter of fact, it was a quick 3-and-out. They punted back to Boise State, who they just now are in punt formation. They've got what looks like a quick, yes, there's a punt, quick 3-and-out. So no score in one of two pretty good games. This game will be chased at 9 o'clock on ESPN by Nebraska, Cincinnati. So that sets things up real quick. We've got about 3 minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes to get out of here on a Thursday. We'll be back on Friday, 4 to 6. And then we will take a great extended weekend. Major League Baseball, Wednesday results. Wanted to get to last night, a couple of really important games. Last night, Seattle 4-3 winners over the Padres. That is two teams chasing, still thinking they've got a chance to win their division. Hell of a series going on. Seattle 4-3 winners last night over the Padres. The Mets complete a sweep of the Phillies. Phillies reeling a little bit, and I wonder if it's a little psyche thing with, when Zach Wheeler went out for the year, the Phillies kind of reeling, but the Mets 6-0 winners last night, and that is a 3-game sweep over the Phillies. Dodgers also had a good sweep with a win last night, 5-1 over the Reds. The Reds still in contention for an NL wild card, but that was a tough sweep suffered by the Reds. Giants got a 12-3 win last night over the Cubs. The Cubs can't afford many more losses. They're probably out of it for the division as Milwaukee has really come on. But the Cubs, kind of a nasty loss to the Giants, who are pretty much out of it. The Athletics, a 7-0 win over Detroit, and that's one of my sayings, bad team beating a good team. It's a tough time of year. Not so bad for Detroit. They are so far in front of everything in their division, and so I'm not so sure Detroit isn't coasting a little bit. They've got so much space. Tonight, limited games today, but a couple games to keep an eye on. Boston at Baltimore. The Red Sox really need to beat Boston. They really need to beat Baltimore, not a real good team. The Cubs need a win at San Francisco. And Houston, they are still trying to fight off Seattle. Houston, they do not need another loss to the Rockies. Nobody needs a loss to the Rockies, but certainly they do not need a loss at all. So that's kind of a quick look at Major League Baseball. The rest of this evening, a lot of football. A lot of college football is on. Some compelling storylines to follow, including this Boise State, University of South Florida game. Florida plays South Florida game 2. So a little advanced scouting. And Boise State, life without Ashton Genty. No score about midway through the first quarter. Some other good games tonight. Tomorrow, our show, obviously 4 to 6, we'll really do a deep dive. We'll review some of these games. If there's anything, noteworthy, we'll review the games from today, tonight, tomorrow on the Friday edition of the Young and Norvelle Show. And then certainly 2 really compelling games. There's several games of college football tomorrow, but the 2 big ones come up at 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, they're at the same time. Auburn at Baylor, we'll break that down. And Georgia Tech at Colorado, and look forward to those. All right, that'll wrap it up. I want to thank Casey Kurtz for working hard back in mission control, and of course Brent Beard giving us extra time. We'll get back at it tomorrow, 4 o'clock, for the next edition of the Young and Norvelle Show. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.